Private bathrooms, shorter coffee lines, and cursed attractions? People have been gatekeeping the best parts about Magic Kingdom, so we're putting a stop to that right now. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. I don't have to tell you that Magic Kingdom is an amazing place filled with amazing things, because you already knew this. What I can tell you though is that Magic Kingdom is an amazing place filled with amazing things you don't know about too. And that's what our focus is going to be today. The things you don't know about but should know about to make your upcoming trip all the more amazing. Before we get started, I got one more thing you need to know about, and that's our free Magic Kingdom quick guide. If you want a digital guide that gives you speedy tips on Magic Kingdom dining and rides and entertainment and itinerary planning too, then go ahead and scan the QR code you see on the screen now, or head to disneyfoodblog.com/magickingdom after this, and you get that free guide sent right to your email. All right, we are going to start with one of my favorite things in Magic Kingdom. Some of you might think this is weird to be one of my favorite things in Magic Kingdom, but alas, it is. There is lots to see and do on Main Street, USA, from shopping to eating to sobbing over those initial looks at Cinderella Castle. But if you step inside the Crystal Arts shop on Main Street, you can see live glass blowers showing off their own Disney magic. Magic that you can purchase right from the gift shop shelves. So live glass blowing doesn't happen all day long, but if you swing by the shop when the demonstrations aren't happening, just ask one of the Crystal Arts cast members when they're going to start back up so you'll know when to return later on. We love going in there and seeing what they're creating, and some of those glass blowers actually create specific items that they have designed and they have created. There's one glass blower that actually creates these beautiful kind of conch shells. I don't know if they're conch shells, but they're very, very cool. So definitely go check those out. One of the most iconic and most photographed spots in Magic Kingdom is the Partners statue. That's the one that features Walt Disney holding hands with Mickey Mouse in front of Cinderella Castle. Now, this statue was created by sculptor Blaine Gibson, who went on to sculpt every pirate in Pirates of the Caribbean, every ghost in Haunted Mansion, every president up to George W. Bush in the Hall of Presidents, and then some. Now, Gibson had a pretty keen eye for detail, which you can clearly see just based on the details of Walt's statue. If you look closely though, Walt is wearing a tie with STR on it. This stands for Smoke Tree Ranch, which was one of Walt's vacation homes out in California. Walt was often seen wearing this tie, which is why Gibson included it. And on Walt's hand, you'll see a Claddagh ring on his finger. This was the ring gifted to Walt by his wife, Lillian Disney, after she purchased it during a trip to Ireland. The more you know. To play a game with one of our favorite reptilian friends, you're gonna have to go to the bathroom. Wow, there's a sentence I never thought I'd say. The Tangled restroom area is actually one of the most picturesque sections of the park over there, kind of between Fantasyland and Liberty Square. There's lots of Imagineering details and movie references and beautiful landscaping. But along with that, there's also a scavenger hunt you can play here too. That's where you'll get to find the 10 Pascals that are hiding out around the space. I guess Rapunzel gave up, so now it's up to you to find him. I won't spoil all the hiding spots in this video, but we do have a whole post filled with spoilers if you find yourself stuck while trying to attempt this challenge yourself. I'll go ahead and link the post down in the description. And there's more to the Tangled restrooms than just hide and seek playing chameleons. When you're near the seating area, check out the fake tree stumps. These tree stumps have charging ports and outlets on their sides, meaning you can relax and charge up your phone all in one. Oh, and go to the bathroom. You can also find charging ports and outlets inside the yellow tent next to Pete's Silly Sideshow over in Storybook Circus, which will provide you with a little more shade as well. Magic Kingdom even knows how to make weather vanes interesting. If you look at the vanes on top of each Fantasyland building, you're going to start to notice that each one is designed to represent the attraction it's sitting on. The Croc and Pirate Ship duo are on top of Peter Pan's flight. The Choo Choo Train is on top of the Fantasyland Railroad Station. The slightly unsettling Jester is on Pinocchio Village House. The high and mighty elk stands over the bathrooms near Gaston's Tavern. The giant squid swims on top of Under the Sea Voyage of the Little Mermaid, little nod to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And the bat and horse are on top of Haunted Mansion, which is technically in Liberty Square, not Fantasyland, but it still wanted to join in all the weather vane fun. And we're back to bathrooms. Sorry, Tangled restrooms, we love you, especially for your impressive theming, but you can just get too busy during the day. Fortunately, there are much quieter places to stop for a break in Magic Kingdom too. You just have to know where to look. In Tomorrowland, head over to the right of the Space Mountain entrance and find the restrooms behind the Rocket Tower Plaza stage. These have quite a few stalls and are usually a lot calmer and cleaner than other Tomorrowland pit stops. Over in Fantasyland, there's a great set of quiet, albeit small, restrooms behind Gaston's Tavern in New Fantasyland. You know, the one with the elk weather vane on top? Just look for the iron antlers and you'll be there in no time. In Adventureland, the Tortuga Tavern restrooms are totally off the beaten path and hidden inside this quick service location. Now, since Tortuga Tavern isn't always open, you have a better chance of having a peaceful break in there. And in Liberty Square, the restrooms on the first floor of the Columbia Harbor House quick service might stay busy, but the ones on the second floor really don't. So when things look too crowded downstairs, go ahead up. Magic Kingdom may be the smallest of the Disney World parks. No, really, it really is. But you're still gonna wind up walking a whole lot during your park day. But there are certain shortcuts to help you avoid crowds and or cut down your steps, including one that can get you to Tron Light Cycle Run way faster. So the path I'm talking about begins around the back of the Barnstormer in Storybook Circus. You'll walk past some well-manicured bushes on your left, and if you keep following that path of bushes, you'll be led right into Tomorrowland near the entrance to Tron. This little foliage-laden path can shave off quite a bit of walking time, especially if you find yourself in the park during a very crowded day, which is most days in Magic Kingdom. If you're new to visiting Disney World, you might not realize that the Magic Kingdom parking lot is actually more than a mile away from the actual entrance to the Magic Kingdom. That's right, when you drive, you're actually going to be parking at a location known as the Transportation and Ticket Center. Once you park, you'll walk or take a tram to the TTC, where you'll go through security and have your choice of taking the monorail or ferry boat the rest of the way to Magic Kingdom. Sometimes there are even buses. So how can you cut down on the time it takes you to get from the Transportation and Ticket Center and over to the actual Magic Kingdom main gates? Well, take the Resort monorail. There are 2 monorail lines at the Transportation and Ticket Center. The Express monorail, the one on the left, is going to take you straight to the Magic Kingdom, but the Resort monorail, the one on the right, is going to take you past the resorts on the monorail route before taking you up to the Magic Kingdom. Either way, both monorails will take you to the Magic Kingdom. It's just that the Resort one will make a few extra stops along the way. If there's a super long line for the Express monorail, because you're getting there right at the beginning of the day and everybody goes to that Express monorail, you might be waiting through 3 or 4 monorails before you finally get to board. In that case, we often prefer to take the Resort monorail instead. It might make a few extra stops before you get to the gates, but if you're going to have to wait to board the Express anyway, you might actually make it to the park faster by using the Resort line. It's not foolproof, but it's worth a shot. Looking for coffee before you start your day in Magic Kingdom? While the Main Street Bakery, aka your place for Starbucks drinks, might seem like the best way to get the caffeine in your veins ASAP, that little shop is going to be packed when the park first opens. But a much quieter coffee stop can be found at the Transportation and Ticket Center before you even get on the monorail. There's a little Joffrey's kiosk at the TTC that many guests overlook when making a beeline for the monorail or ferry boat, meaning you might encounter a much shorter wait here when ordering your morning cup of joe. Haunted Mansion might be known for its 999 happy haunts, but there are a couple other more needy, attention-seeking haunts spiriting some of the Magic Kingdom dark rides. The first is the Blackbird, perched near the coffin in the conservatory scene in the Haunted Mansion itself. This little guy's name is Lucifer, and according to cast member lore, if you don't pet Lucifer each morning during the ride walkthroughs, bad things happen in the ride throughout the day, like downtimes and wild crowds and mean visitors. And then there's the haunt you can't see on ride over at the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction, who can cause just as much mischief as Lucifer can, and that's George. When Disney World was constructing Pirates of the Caribbean in the 1970s, a welder named George passed away during the ride's construction, but as the story goes, George decided to stick around and haunt the attraction to this very day. Much like Lucifer, George demands his respect on the daily. Cast members have to say good morning to the ghost of George every morning when they open the ride for the day, and good night when they close it down. If they ignore this, George will be upset and make weird things happen. Doors might open and close by themselves, phones might ring randomly in the control room, lights could flicker, all spooky spectral hijinks. But don't worry, George is generally regarded as a playful poltergeist looking to cause harmless mischief and nothing more. All right, y'all, some of the most advanced animatronics to date are getting ready to grace Frontierland with their presence. Recently, Disney shared a first look at the Tiana animatronic that'll be inside the new Tiana's Bayou Adventure log flume ride, which we now know is opening this summer, 2024. This animatronic is so impressive, and Tiana is killing it in her new adventure outfit. Tiana is only the first of many new animatronics to come to this refreshed ride, though. According to Disney, there will be a bunch of familiar faces and new friends using the newest technology that are going to be filling up the bayou with their unique personalities, and we can't wait to see who decides to show up to the party. You know what Fantasyland attraction really doesn't get enough love? Enchanted Tales with Belle. This experience starts off by taking you inside Maurice's cabin. See that mirror hanging on the wall? Keep an eye on it because it's not your average mirror. When the pre-show begins, this mirror transforms into a glowing, growing portal, leading you into Beast's library by the power of Disney magic. Once you're in the library, you'll take your seat and listen to an interactive retelling of how Belle and the Beast met and fell in love. Some guests might even get chosen to play along. After the show wraps up, you'll have the chance to meet Belle and take a picture with her. So not only are you getting a character meet and greet opportunity, but a full show. Oh, and you get a free bookmark souvenir too with Belle's autograph. Seriously, why is this show so underrated? It's one of the coolest shows out there, bar none. Plus there's Magic Mirror. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is a literal mine full of hidden details, but one of those Big Thunder secrets can't be discovered until you're leaving the ride. After you hop off the wildest ride in the wilderness, pay close attention to the rocks on your left. Amongst the cracks in the stone, you will see one that's shaped like our favorite fiery pixie, Tinkerbell. Some of the longest standing traditions in Magic Kingdom are the best traditions in Magic Kingdom. Each evening, starting at 5 p.m. in Town Square on Main Street, USA, a flag retreat takes place. During this time, the Walt Disney World Band circles around the flagpole and plays the Star-Spangled Banner as the American flag is slowly lowered. After being properly folded, the flag is then handed to the selected veteran of the day, followed by a brief tribute detailing his or her military service. The daily flag retreat is one of those lesser-known events that gets so easily overlooked during the day, but if you actually do take time to check this one out, I guarantee you goosebumps, my friends. It is incredible. 2 mysterious tiny doors? Well, now I've seen everything. Some of y'all may have heard about the secret tiny door residing in Fantasyland over by the Bonjour Village gift shop, which is rumored to be there because it's possibly covering up a design error made during construction. But if you head down the path leading towards Cinderella Wishing Well to the right-hand side of Cinderella Castle, you'll be able to see a second small door just underneath the well's location. Why is this little door there? We don't know yet, but miniaturized items fascinate me, so I'm glad it's there, even if its origins remain unknown. If you love tiny things too, let me know in the comments. And if you know why this door is there, I know some of you do. I know some of you are Imagineers or you worked on the construction of this. Please let me know in the comments as well. So, am I confused about one of the newest offerings coming to Magic Kingdom? Yes. Am I intrigued? So, also, yes. So back in July 2023, Disney announced that they'd be bringing a new offering to Storybook Circus in Magic Kingdom called Smellephants on Parade. This will be presented by Scentsy as a family-friendly search and sniff adventure, as though a search and sniff adventure is something we all understand. Like I said, confused, but intrigued. We haven't heard a lot of updates about this new offering, but we have seen the Scentsy logo added to some of the signs around Storybook Circus. Storybook Circus has also recently removed some bushes and foliage over by the Casey Jr. Splash and Soak Station, which Disney hasn't specifically shared is the Smellephants doing, but it would make sense to get those bushes out of the way to help install the new additions. It's all speculation, folks, right on down to what the heck a Smellephant actually is. We're eager to sniff out the mystery ourselves, though the idea of a Smellephant also makes me gag a little. I'm trusting you with this one, Scentsy. In 2021, the Main Street Confectionery got that snazzy upgrade, remember? That included a little spot in the back of the shop where you can customize your very own popcorn mix. At the Colonel Kitchen, you can pick a popcorn flavor like caramel or rainbow or butter or cheddar, a syrup like dark chocolate, milk chocolate, or white chocolate, and then a topping, maybe M&Ms or pretzels, marshmallows, and more, to create something that's totally tailored to your taste buds. This customizable option is going to be quite a bit more expensive than just a regular scoop of buttered popcorn. We're talking $13 to $15 plus for a build-your-own treat. But if you're looking for something more unique than just your regular old popcorn concoction, this could be a fun snack to munch on during the day. Just note that those syrups, they're kind of like Hershey's syrup, right? Like it's not something that's going to completely solidify on your popcorn, so it will get really messy. Now, it doesn't matter if you're a kid or a teen or an adult or a grandparent, everyone can get a hearty dose of pixie dusting in Magic Kingdom for free. Pixie dusting is where a cast member has you close your eyes and make a wish while they use a magic wand to sprinkle you with lots of glitter and dreams come true magic. To get your hair adorned with this pixie dust goodness, just make a stop over at Sir Mickey's gift shop in Fantasyland, just behind Cinderella Castle, or Bonjour Village Gifts, also in Fantasyland across from Gaston's Tavern. And then track down a cast member with a magic wand. They can take things over from there. And yes, that glitter will stay in your hair for at least a couple of days. Over at Magic Kingdom's Ye Olde Christmas shop, Christmas happens 365 days of the year. And because it's Christmas every day here, kids can send letters to Santa from this location year round. Yes, actual letters. Using the blank templates and crayons provided by the shop, you can draft your letter to Santa and let him know what you want for Christmas. Though you're already going to be on a Disney vacation, so really what more could you ask for? I guess another Disney vacation? But once you're done writing your letter, just drop it into Santa's mailbox right there in the shop, and voila, you're ready for the holidays, even if it's the middle of June. Now, right across from the Ye Olde Christmas shop at the Hall of Presidents, you're going to find a unique piece of Disney history even before the show begins. And guess what? This is kind of brand new to Magic Kingdom. A lot of people don't even know it's here. When you enter the Hall of Presidents building, look for the display case with the saddle. There, you're going to find a folded American flag. But this isn't a prop American flag that's been created just for looks. This is the real deal, and it's a very special flag as well. This very flag played a special role in the opening of Disney World. On October 1st, 1971, then President Richard Nixon flew an American flag outside the White House. He then packaged that flag and sent it to Roy Disney. Roy had the flag flown during Disney World's dedication day on October 25th, 1971. So when you look at old photos of the dedication of Disney World, the big American flag that's flying in Main Street, USA is the very same one that once flew over the White House on Disney World's opening day, and the one you can still see today in Liberty Square. How can you guarantee a good view of the whole happily ever after nighttime spectacular without all the crowd stress? By splurging on a dessert party. The Magic Kingdom Fireworks dessert parties offer you a chance to enjoy happily ever after from a reserved viewing area where you can avoid the crowds and munch away on all sorts of treats and goodies. There are 3 versions of the dessert party that you can choose from. Magic Kingdom Fireworks Pre-Party. This starts at Tomorrowland Terrace Restaurant with dessert offerings prior to the Magic Kingdom Fireworks. And after you've gotten your fill of snacks and drinks, you'll be escorted to a reserved standing area over in the Plaza Garden. The same goes for the post party, only in reverse order. You'll watch Happily Ever After first from the Plaza Garden reserved standing area, then you'll be shuffled away to the Tomorrowland Terrace for a late night indulgence and a bunch of sweet treats. And then there's the Magic Kingdom Fireworks Seats and Suites party, which takes place at Tomorrowland Terrace during the fireworks, meaning you'll have dedicated seating from the restaurant for the duration of the show while also enjoying the provided snacks. So got it? 2 of these you're going to stand to watch the show, 1 of them you're going to sit to watch the show, but all of them you're going to get desserts. The pre and post party are going to put you back about $99 to $109 per adult, while the seats and suites party is going to cost around $119 to $129 per adult. Now, while this amazing thing isn't in Magic Kingdom yet, it's being conjured up for the park's future as we speak, at least according to Disney. During the 2022 D23 Expo, Disney leaders tossed around some what-if ideas about the possibility of a new themed area in Magic Kingdom just beyond Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, where there's apparently plenty of land to be developed. Then, during the 2023 Destination D23 event, Josh D'Amaro, Disney Parks Experiences and Products Chairman, and Bruce Vaughn, Chief Creative Officer of Walt Disney Imagineering, said that the future expansion plans for Magic Kingdom were going to be the largest ever expansion for the park, with stories told on a scale similar to things like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios and Pandora in Animal Kingdom. So what is this expansion going to be about? What stories are going to unfold here? Well, Disney's been keeping us in the dark in that regard, but they have thrown out ideas for potential park additions, like a Coco-themed area or even a Disney villains area, as well as several other what-if concepts. We're not sure what Disney's going to finally land on, but when they do land on something, we're going to drop the big news as soon as it goes live. Now, are you ready to hop aboard the Disney World Railroad? If you're loading in from the Frontierland station, take a second to locate the wooden leg on the Lost and Found shelf. Up on the leg's thigh, you'll see it clearly marked with the name Smith, which is a silly Easter egg tying back to the Mary Poppins film. If you've seen the movie before, then you already know the scene I'm talking about. Bert says, "I know a man with a wooden leg named Smith." And Uncle Albert says, "What's the name of his other leg?" Real knee slapper, that one. And by the way, that leg has been there for a very, very long time, and I remember talking about that on the message boards back in the day 20 years ago. Feeling shaggy and you just can't wait to get a trim until after your Magic Kingdom day? Then you may want to swing by the Harmony Barbershop over on Main Street, USA. Harmony Barbershop is a vintage-style salon where haircuts are available for every age, pixie dust and all. An adult haircut starts at just $21. A kid's haircut is $20. A beard trim is $8, and the My First Haircut experience starts at $28, which not only includes that first haircut, but also a commemorative first haircut Mickey ear hat, a keepsake lock of hair, and an official milestone certificate. If you want to get your haircut in Magic Kingdom, Harmony Barbershop does take a limited number of walk-ins each day, but you're probably better off getting a reservation online before your trip to guarantee a spot in the barber's chair. Want the insider scoop on a tiny attraction detail that even some cast members haven't spotted before? Then suit up, Space Rangers, because we're headed to Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. In this interactive attraction, you can fire your laser gun to earn points and defeat the evil Emperor Zurg in an epic space battle. Now, in the final scene of the attraction, most folks are focused on either Zurg being all defeated, spoiler alert, or Buzz Lightyear as he thanks riders for defending the galaxy. But if you look up toward the ceiling, you'll spot a Star Cruiser soaring by every so often. And no, I'm not talking about the defunct Star Wars hotel. I'm talking about the actual Space Ranger spin vehicle that you'll be piloting during the ride. Our reporters asked a few cast members whether the Star Cruiser in this scene is supposed to represent another Toy Story character or whether it's supposed to represent us. But none of the cast members we spoke to had ever noticed the Star Cruiser before, so the answer still remains a mystery. But why don't you let me know in the comments what you think this is supposed to represent? Any theories? You may be really surprised by what your toddler or kid ends up liking best about Magic Kingdom, because the Casey Jr. Splash and Soak Station is a big sleeper hit for a lot of them. It's not a ride, it's not a restaurant, it's not even a show, and it's not a character. It's just a Dumbo-themed splash pad inside Storybook Circus where your kid can run around and get wet and play with different water features and not have to worry about waiting in another long line for a ride. So if you're just looking for a place where your kid can blow off some steam, track down the steam engine of Fantasyland and cool off a bit. Don't forget to bring extra underpants. The fact that this hidden Mickey even exists still boggles my mind. Every year on Mickey and Minnie's birthday, which is November 18th, so save the date, a rare hidden Mickey and hidden Minnie appear in the queue line for Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid for a super short window of time. When the clock strikes noon on November 18th, and only November 18th, an oddly shaped hole in the Little Mermaid queue catches the sun just right to create a Mickey and Minnie shaped outline against the wall. You can find this oddly shaped hole past the outdoor portion of the line and underneath the queue's rocky ceiling. And if you just so happen to be in Magic Kingdom on November 18th, cast members will have this area of the queue blocked off for folks who want to see the hidden Mickey magic without clogging up the rest of the ride line. Cast members also usually sing Happy Birthday to Mickey when this happens, which is really fun. In Disney World, you'll have the chance to become almost anything, and you'll have the souvenirs to prove it. Over at Tomorrowland Speedway, you can get a custom Tomorrowland Speedway driver's license created in the photo booth near the attraction for about $5. It's pretty cheap for a Disney souvenir. At Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin, you can also earn a Galactic Hero sticker if you can max out your score by earning 999,999 points or more. I believe in you, my fellow gamers, you can do it. And if you're one of the lucky kids aboard the Jungle Cruise, you might be chosen to become an honorary Jungle Cruise skipper for the day, which also comes with your very own Jungle Cruise skipper license. Now that first one, the Tomorrowland Speedway license, you can go buy that whenever you want, but the other two, the Galactic Hero sticker and the Jungle Cruise skipper, those are, not everybody gets those, so you should really prize it if you do. All right, the Haunted Mansion gift shop alone is a great, amazing thing that's in Magic Kingdom, and a lot of people don't even know it's there. But there's plenty inside it that nobody knows about either. So this gift shop is called Memento Mori. It's very small, but it is packed with lots of spooky lore. According to Imagineers, this very gift shop was actually the home of Madame Leota, aka the floating head inside the Haunted Mansion ride, who's summoning all the spirits from somewhere beyond. Although Leota only lived here during her corruptible mortal state, a lot of her stuff was left behind, including her gold-rimmed mirror. If you get close enough to the mirror, you may just recognize a familiar face peering back at you and maybe even blinking. This is one of the creepiest things in Magic Kingdom, and I don't think anybody ever looks at it, so go check it out. Now, speaking of spooky, I know you're probably thoroughly freaked out by now, but I'm not done with the amazing things hiding out in Memento Mori just yet. But first, a little backstory. Before Haunted Mansion was going to be Haunted Mansion, Walt was planning on making it a museum of weird walkthrough. This would have featured bizarre additions like voodoo artifacts, coffin clocks, talking chairs, man-eating plants, and more. Of course, you know how that story goes. The walkthrough was eventually ditched for doom buggies and grim-grinning ghosts. However, one of the artifacts that was meant to go inside the original attraction now rests in the attic scene of the Disney World Haunted Mansion. And that's the eerie and drippy, melty Candleman. So how does this tie back in with Memento Mori? Because Candleman has a cousin hanging out inside the shop. I'm not making this up. This is all very true. So at first glance, you might miss it, but if you look closely, you can make out the form of a melted-looking creature as he holds up the two candlesticks atop one of the Memento Mori shelves. And if you know about Candleman and Candleman's cousin, you're going to have a lot of Disney adult street cred. Now, you might not eat the best flatbreads of your life at Pinocchio Village House, they're not that bad, but you're still gonna have a whole lot of fun people watching here. On the first floor of this Fantasyland quick service, there are a couple of tables next to a large window that looks out across the It's a Small World ride. And that's already entertaining enough, but what makes these table views even better are the little signs that you can hold up for the Small World riders to make them do stuff. These signs say things like touch your nose, sing let it go, clap, give someone a high five, and other silly things like that. It's always fun to see your fellow guests play along from down below, which makes this restaurant all the more worth visiting. If you don't see the signs at one of these tables, you can always ask a cast member to help you track them down. But wait, don't leave Pinocchio Village House yet, because there's one more fun activity here that anyone can do, and not just the people who sit at a certain table. Also on the first floor of the restaurant, you'll be able to spot a little stained glass window with a picture of the Blue Fairy, surrounded by a super sweet quote saying, "You deserve to have your wish come true." You're right, Blue Fairy, we do deserve to have our wishes come true. And right next to this stained glass window, you'll find the Blue Fairy's very own wish book, where you can add your own personal wish in the hopes that the Blue Fairy will put her money where her mouth is and make those wishes happen. Will they happen? Who knows? You can make your own wishes happen. But I heard the little cricket once say that a wish upon a star might help move things along too. There's an ultra-exclusive castle suite located inside Cinderella Castle, but very few people will ever get the chance to see it in person, and even fewer people will get the chance to stay here. The Cinderella Castle suite was originally designed to be a suite for Walt Disney and his family, but because Walt passed before the completion of Disney World, the apartment was turned into office space instead. Then, in 2006, for the Year of a Million Dreams celebration, the offices were ripped out and Cinderella Castle Suite was born. Unfortunately, you can't pay to stay in this very special hotel room, and really, I don't want to think about how much it would cost us if we could. Generally, you'll have to be invited or win a contest to get the chance to spend the night here, and in the past, you could take an extremely pricey Magic Kingdom tour that'd include a walkthrough of this space, but still no overnight stay. That being said, you can still enter into Cinderella Castle and dine there if you have a reservation for Cinderella's royal table, which could be a worthy alternative just to say you got to hang out in the iconic castle for an hour or two. So the walkthrough of the Cinderella Castle Suite may not be available right now, but you can still experience exclusive parts of the Magic Kingdom through a cast member guided tour if you add on the Keys to the Kingdom tour to your upcoming Magic Kingdom Day. The Keys to the Kingdom tour is a 5-hour experience offering behind-the-scenes access to some of Disney World's most exclusive areas, like the famous but only seen by cast members Utilidor tunnels constructed underneath the Magic Kingdom. Lunch is included with the tour, by the way, and each tour guest receives a commemorative gift afterwards. We were lucky enough to take this tour last year, so if you want our complete thoughts on it, I'll link our DFB post which details our personal experience, or as much of it as we're allowed to share, down in the description. Can't snag a reservation for Cinderella's royal table? That's okay. You can still walk through Cinderella Castle and appreciate those impressive handcrafted mosaic murals that retell the story of the slipper-losing princess herself. Inside the castle walkway, you'll see 5 different mural sections telling each part of Cindy's story. But when you get to the 4th mural, there's actually some hidden Disney animators here, did you know? The footman's face is that of Herb Ryman, and the gentleman behind him resembles John Hench. Both men started their Disney careers as animators and went on to have a significant role in the New York World's Fair, Disneyland Park, and Walt Disney World itself. Oh, and this is kind of a random bonus thing about the castle that doesn't have to do with the mosaics, but does have to do with more smallish doors, because we're into that apparently. If you check out the large castle door to your right when you're entering through the front of Cinderella Castle, you can faintly notice a door within the door. This feature was commonly used in medieval structures. When the large doors are closed, the smaller door allowed individuals access into the castle without opening up the whole fortress to possible danger. So when I say Imagineers think of everything, they think of everything. Aside from the Nixon flag, there are even more all-American icons hanging out inside the Hall of Presidents. An appropriate place for them to be, no doubt. As you walk into the first room, you're going to see a roped-off seal sprawled out on the floor. This is actually the Great Seal of the United States, quote-unquote, made of 100% wool carpet. And what's really special about it is that it actually took multiple acts of Congress to grant Disney the permission to even display it here. Some serious dedication, but worth it to make this spot even more authentic than it was before. Next time you're on Main Street, USA, look up instead of just straight ahead, right at the castle. A difficult feat for sure. Cinderella Castle pulls people in like a moth drawn to light. That's the whole point. But if you look up at the windows on Main Street, USA, you're going to notice several names listed across the panes. These names are tributes to various Imagineers and some of the Walt Disney Company's most important people. So you'll see names like Meg Crofton, president of Disney World from 2006 to 2013, Ed Bullard, once head of Disney World Security, Bob Price, the man who orchestrated the purchase of the land that now holds the Disney World property, and of course Walt and Roy Disney, amongst many others. What's that? You've never thought about doing some early morning yoga in Magic Kingdom before? 'Cause it's totally possible, sometimes. During the Disney Princess Half Marathon weekend, which tends to happen toward the end of February each year, you have the option to sign up for Disney Princess Yoga in front of Cinderella Castle, if you're already signed up for one of their Run Disney race events during that same time. It is an extra cost on top of the race entry fee, but it's one of the most unique Magic Kingdom opportunities out there. Not to mention, it's a super relaxing way to wrap up a race well done. Remember, Run Disney races open up their registrations way early, so if you're wanting to do something like this, you're going to want to start planning about a year out. You can figure out when the next Run Disney registrations go live over on the Run Disney website. So if ride lines are getting a little too long in Magic Kingdom midday, you can head on over to Adventureland and sign up for a free Pirates Adventure Treasures of the Seven Seas. This is a 5-part interactive scavenger hunt where you're going to track down treasures, evade antagonistic scallywags, and learn about secrets you never knew were lurking around this particular region of Magic Kingdom. And after you've completed all 5 missions, you're going to earn the grand prize, a card signed by Captain Jack Sparrow himself. No waiting in a meet and greet line necessary. Now, you don't have to complete all 5 missions if you don't want to, and there's no time limit on how long you take to complete a certain mission. But each one does take around 20 minutes to complete if you don't stop to take any breaks. Oh, and best of all, you get to keep the pirate maps too, whether you finish any missions or not. So at very least, it's worth swinging by the Crow's Nest just to get a fun and free souvenir to take home with ya. So Jungle Cruise is filled with different kooky secrets and tons of Easter egg-based storytelling, but one of the most heartbreaking hidden details on this ride is the one you're going to find before you enter the hippo pool on the right-hand side of the boat. That mangled half of a plane you see right there is actually the back half of a whole plane. The other part of the plane used to reside in a now defunct attraction from Hollywood Studios' MGM days, the Great Movie Ride. There's never a day that goes by that we don't miss that one. The front of the plane was featured during the ride's Casablanca scene. As Humphrey Bogart would utter his famous line, a plane would start up behind him, and that exact plane is the Jungle Cruise plane's other half, though something tells me they're never going to be reunited. A tragedy worth a Shakespearean play for sure. By the way, can I tell you one more Jungle Cruise fun fact? Just because I think it's way cool every time I ride. When you enter the ride's temple, you'll see a few creatures lurking in the dark with glowing eyes peering back at you. A lot of people think these glowing eyes are part of some high-tech trick, but really it's just marbles coated with a special paint. Ooh, this is a great segue from Jungle Cruise into Skipper Canteen. So if you dine at Skipper Canteen in Adventureland, you are in for a real treat. From the unique food to the corny jokes to the over-the-top theming. Because remember, these are Jungle Cruise skippers that are serving you after all. Now there are a few different places you could be seated inside this restaurant. And one of these is the SEA, or Society of Explorers and Adventurers, room. As the story goes, the secret meeting room was previously hidden behind bookcases, which you're gonna see in passing as you make your way into the room itself. Or when you go to the bathroom, because the bathroom is in the SEA room. Now after you're seated and they've taken your order, make sure to get up and move around and take a closer look at that bookcase. Turns out there are lots of Easter egg titles lining the shelves. For example, the Illustrated Guide to Radio Broadcasting was composed by the skipper behind the voice of the jungle that you'll hear in the Jungle Cruise Q, Albert Awol. Also on the shelf is Boat Evacuation Procedures by Cap Size. Get it? Oh, but what's this I see? The Jungle Book title seems to be slightly jutting out on the bookshelf away from all the other titles. You know what that means? It means that this was the very book that you had to have pulled from the shelf to reveal the hidden passageway into the SEA room. Good thing you knew that so you could get in, right? Now, I'm not gonna lie, I never do. We rarely ever talk about Aunt Polly's in Magic Kingdom, and that's because Aunt Polly's is never open. But when this quick service is open, you can enjoy a drink or a bite to eat here. Sometimes they have really good biscuits, and hang out within that open air gazebo on the edge of Tom Sawyer's Island. And that means, yes, you will need to ride over on a raft across the rivers of America to get there, which is part of the fun. But even if this restaurant isn't open when you're there, the covered patio area has a few rocking chairs lined up across it, so you can still use those to take a load off and just soak in the views across the rivers of America for a bit. This is especially great if you have kids who need to run off some energy. They can go all over the place on Tom Sawyer Island, and you can just sit and chill. Hey, all you Tron fans out there, how would you like to become part of the Tron universe permanently? Sounds like the start of a YA dystopian novel, but I promise you it's not. Now you can participate in the Tron Identity program over at Tomorrowland Launch Depot to create your own custom program action figure. This program is similar to the one you're going to find at the Wind Traders gift shop in Disney's Animal Kingdom, where you can create your own custom Na'vi doll right outside of Flight of Passage. But at the Tron version, you'll create a customized action figure that looks and sounds like you too. You're going to customize the action figure by choosing a helmet and body configuration, and you'll also create an identity chip that will interact with some of the other shop merchandise like identity discs and remote control light cycles. Once you finish this process, you'll head over to Command Input to record 6 lines of dialogue. It takes about 20 minutes to make these selections and then another 60 minutes for your figure to be ready. This activity requires advanced reservations, although walk-ins may be accepted depending on the day's availability, and costs about $90 per figure. Magic Kingdom is just as excited to start celebrating Halloween as you are, which is why they start their celebrations really early. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is a seasonal Magic Kingdom event that requires a separate ticket for entry. Now in 2023, this event took place on select nights from August 11th through November 1st. Yep, you heard that right. This started when some kids were still out of school for summer vacation, and we're predicting that's going to be the same for 2024 as well. So why would you want to go to an earlier Halloween party rather than one closer to the actual holiday? Well, because the earlier you book, the cheaper the party ticket. While the first ticket for the kickoff event might be a little pricier because all the bloggers go, the other August-based Not So Scary tickets tend to be almost $90 less than the ones listed closer to Halloween. So you may want to prioritize an earlier celebration just for those discounted party tickets. While we don't know the exact prices or days that this event's going to be offered in 2024 yet, we expect those tickets to go live toward the end of April or beginning of May this year, like they've done for the past few years now. But we'll let you know just as soon as we learn more about the deets, so you won't be left in the dark with all those spooky, scary skeletons. So are you going to walk right down the middle of Main Street USA, or are you going to ride down it? During the day, you might have the opportunity to hop aboard one of the Main Street USA vehicles and get a ride all the way up to Cinderella Castle. While these vehicles aren't available all of the time, they're more apt to be out and running during the morning, especially before the Festival of Fantasy parade, since these little jitneys will not be able to run when the parade is going down the main street. There are 2 pickup and drop-off locations for these vehicles, one in Town Square and the other in front of the iconic Cinderella Castle. You can always ask a nearby cast member about when these rides are going to take place, or you can check for posted operation times near the Main Street vehicle pickup or drop-off locations. When my kid was little and all he cared about was riding Disney transportation, we would spend the whole day just riding buses back and forth. He could not wait to get on that omnibus, that giant green bus that would go down Main Street USA. Oh my goodness, that has a second level. It's a double-decker bus. Oh boy, that was his dream come true. So during Disney World's 50th anniversary celebration, which lasted 18 months and started back in 2021, we saw a lot of limited time treats enter the Magic Kingdom scene. Remember that day we ate like 150 blue things? That was wild. But we also saw some longtime favorites disappear for a while, like my favorite All-American Sundae from the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor on Main Street USA. However, after the anniversary festivities wrapped up, my beloved sundae returned to the parlor menu and all was right with the world. Now, the All-American Sundae is a combo of old-fashioned vanilla and chocolate ice cream topped with hot fudge, peanut butter sauce, whipped cream, and a cherry. Pretty simple thing, just a mini version of the No Way Jose over at Beaches and Cream, but the peanut butter drizzle is what really makes this a #1 ice cream contender for me. So creamy and nutty and delicious and salty sweet. So if you love peanut butter sauce as much as I do, definitely head on over to Plaza Ice Cream Parlor, get the All-American Sundae. Okay, so hear me out. If you've already seen the Happily Ever After fireworks from Main Street USA at least once, or you have an aversion to crowds like me, there's a really fun and different way to see the show, if you're willing to gamble on it. Before the fireworks begin, head over to Frontierland and check how long the wait time is for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Now, you might have to do some math depending on how long the line for Big Thunder is, but ride lines are typically shorter right before the fireworks happen. If you can time your wait just right, or better yet, if you have a lightning lane that can help you bypass the main line altogether, then you're going to have a unique view of the fireworks while you're zooming along the tracks. We love watching the fireworks from pretty much any ride, and this works on Big Thunder, but it'll also work on Tiana's Bayou Adventure when that reopens, and there are a few other spots where you can see those fireworks from while you're riding a ride. Very fun. So the monsters at Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor don't just need your laughter to power their city. They need your jokes and all-around participation too. So before the show begins, you'll have the chance to text in a quick joke. Make it something family-friendly that you don't have to think too hard about, because if your joke is chosen, one of the monsters will read it toward the end of the act. But even if you don't text in a joke, you still need to be ready to become part of this improv-like show at any given time. You might be featured on the big screen or asked a few questions to help out an act, or you might even become that guy. Oh man, we love that guy. Keep in mind that not everyone will be chosen to participate in these performances, since there'll be a lot of folks and only limited amounts of time for each act. So don't be disappointed if you're not chosen every single time you pop in for a show. I've never been that guy. So better get your throwing arm all warmed up, because you might be one of the lucky chosen ones to throw out the Casey's Corner first pitch on the day of your Magic Kingdom visit, and I'm mostly talking to you kids out there. Every morning at Casey's Corner on Main Street USA, a first pitch is thrown, just like in a baseball game. Usually cast members at Casey's Corner will ask one kiddo if they'd like to throw out the first pitch, but sometimes a grown-up might be asked to join in on the fun instead. Whoever the lucky chosen one is will typically get a free brownie for a job well done, and these are like my favorite brownies in probably Disney World. I really like those baseball brownies. I can't explain it. I love them. So keep in mind that the first pitch only happens right before the quick service opens up shop. So to increase your chances of it happening for someone in your group, you're going to want to rope drop this hot dog establishment. So check the hours. It doesn't open right at 8 a.m. obviously, because it opens for lunch. So check those hours and figure out, is it like 10:30 or is it 10 or is it 11 or what? And then show up and maybe ask a cast member if they've already chosen someone to do the first pitch or not. So there are a few Magic Kingdom restaurants with underrated window and outdoor views that aren't just great for people watching, but for parade watching. If you time your meal just right and the odds are ever in your favor, then you might be able to get a restaurant seat with a direct view of the Festival of Fantasy parade. Tony's Town Square, for instance, has an outdoor viewing area where you can watch the tail end of the parade take place. This is also one of my favorite places to sit and have dinner as people are coming in for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, because then you get to see everybody's Halloween costumes, and it's really, really fun to people watch right then. And the windows over at Crystal Palace, they might give you a view of the whole parade with Cinderella Castle in the background. These parade view seats aren't guaranteed, but you can always ask the host up front about them just in case they're available during your reservation time. Now, if you don't want to pay for a full sit-down meal for lunch, Columbia Harbor House over in Liberty Square also has little window seat tables on the second floor where you're going to be able to see the parade from a bird's eye view. These seats are pretty popular though, so you may want to plan to grab your food and hopefully find your spot earlier rather than right before the parade begins. Okay, I gotta know, are there any amazing Magic Kingdom secrets that you've been holding on to that you want to get off your chest? Write them down in the comments so we can all have the best days ever during our next trip to the most magical place on Earth. And don't forget to grab that Magic Kingdom quick guide over at disneyfoodblog.com/Magic Kingdom. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. I know this has been a long one. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.